Hey guys, and welcome to another video. Today we're in the capital of Krasnodar Krai, the southern capital of Russia, the city of Krasnodar. Good afternoon YouTube. Today I'm in the wonderful city of Krasnodar here in the south of Russia. It's March and you can see behind me there's absolutely no snow around me, and in fact this is the first bit of the colour green I've seen in absolute months. Krasnodar region, Krasnodar Krai in Russian, is located in the south of Russia next to the Black Sea, and it's home of two of the fastest developing cities in this country, Krasnodar and Sochi. Sochi is most famous for hosting the Olympics in 2014. This area is well known in this country for having great wine, great beaches and beautiful scenery and mountains, and it's a place where really doesn't have any winter the whole year round in terms of what people in Moscow might experience. It's never really so cold, and as you can see today here, spring is well in flow on one of the first weeks of March. Right now here it's about 14 degrees, whereas in Moscow it's hovering around 0, maybe even -1, -2. And just for a comparison for you at home, Moscow is on line with cities like Edinburgh or a state like Alaska in the US, whereas this city Krasnodar is in line with Venice in Italy and New York in the US. So you can see there's a big north-south difference, and it's why the weather here is so much different than in Moscow. This city was originally founded as Yekaterinodar, named after Catherine II, who was leader of Russia at the time. It means Catherine's gift, and it was given as a gift from the Imperial Russian state to the Cossacks, who are native here. Following the revolution and the fall of the empire here in Russia, the name was changed from Yekaterinodar to Krasnodar. Krasnodar coming from the Russian word for red, so it has those Soviet connotations of red. Today I'm going to be walking around this city, exploring its architecture, its churches, its monuments, its streets, its parks, everything like that, and I'm going to be showing you here in this video. And tonight about 7:30 is a kickoff of a football game here, FC Krasnodar, and I'm going to be going to that game, and I'm going to show you that game here too. So I'm hoping it's going to be quite an interesting video. So we'll begin our tour today here on the main street in the center of Krasnodar. You can see it right behind here. This is a pedestrianized section actually. Krasnaya Ulitsa, Red Street. This is the main street in the center of this city, going from this church here all the way to the Aurora Theatre, all the way down there, which I'll show you guys later. This street is named Red, not because of the Soviet connotations, but because of the historical meaning of the word red. If you've been to Moscow and you've been to Red Square, you might be surprised to find out that that word red actually comes from Russian for beautiful. People used to use the word krasnaya to mean beautiful, and not necessarily meaning the colour red. And it's the exact same here. This street is named Krasnaya Ulitsa, once meaning beautiful street, but of course now you could probably call it Red Street. As we walk down this street, you'll see lots of buildings here from the 19th century, which are quite well preserved, which keep the memory of the 19th century life here in Krasnodar in the 21st century. Back then, in the 19th century, in the late 19th century in particular, this city was known as Little Paris by its inhabitants. So when we go through, I'll take some videos and maybe you can spot why. The first building here at the start of Krasnaya Ulitsa is this cathedral right here. Cathedral named after Alexander Nevsky. Alexander Nevsky Cathedral is a white church with 5 gilded domes in the Florentine style. It was built in 2006 in the style of an older church which was blown up in 1932. few meters away, not far from the church, is this here. This is a monument to Catherine II, the founder of this city. This monument was originally built in 1906, but only lasted 14 years as it was melted down in 1920 by the Soviets. 100 years after the original building of this monument in 2006, it was rebuilt and reopened here in the center of Krasnodar, the statue to Catherine II. And one thing I've noticed, they really are in love with her here in this city, and you can see her logo everywhere. In fact, I'm just going to take a look and sit on this bench right here, and you can see on this bench the letter E for Ekaterina. So even her logo is on the benches, and perhaps not so fun, not so complimentary. Down here you can see, even on the bins. This statue is dominated by Catherine II here on the top, but all around her are a cabal of men who she had helping her through the years as Tsaress. You see here, down here, we see a local Kuban Cossack leader whose name was Beli. He was a chieftain. And you also see round here Prince Potemkin, who also helped her. And there's a bunch of other people here on this statue who worked with Catherine II. Opposite the monument here of Catherine is the local, well, the regional Krasnodar Krai Legislative Assembly, as you'll see in a second behind me right now. This grand building right behind. And on the top you can see two flags, Russia and Krasnodar Krai, the regional flag. And here we see the flags of all the different areas of this Krai. There's quite a lot of them, I think maybe 40 different flags of various colours with different symbols and stuff. Is really quite interesting. So yeah, this is Krasnodar Krai Regional Assembly. A little bit further down the street and I'm outside the old House of Political Education, which is now a concert hall and is the home for the world famous folk singers, the Kuban Cossack choir. And this is where their home base is. But they tour quite a lot and they're not always here, but this is where they are when they're home. Also on this street is Jukka Square, of course named after the World War II Field Marshal Georgy Zhukov, and you can see his statue is right here. And this square is quite an interesting place. Here we see some restaurants, and here we have a fountain. And I'm led to believe in the summer this is quite a lively place, turns into a bit of a concert venue. People chilling out, getting a drink from one of these restaurants, sitting cooling off by the fountain, maybe having a drink or something like that. So yeah, this seems like quite a nice place, but unfortunately I can't really get the full feel, the full atmosphere for it here in the middle of March. Halfway along Krasnaya Ulitsa, Red Street, it turns into just a road, into a place where the road is split. One side over here, one side over here, and inside along the middle is just a straight garden, park kind of thing, which goes all the way to this triumphal arch over here, and keeps going, right to the end to Aurora Cinema, which we'll see in a minute. I'm stood here outside the stadium here in Krasnodar after the game is finished, 2-2 between Krasnodar and Orenburg. I wanted to film here just before the game, but unfortunately I was stuck in traffic on the way here and it wasn't possible. But what I did see, in fact, was an incredible football game, and more importantly, an incredible stadium. This is a brand new state-of-the-art stadium with all the things you'd expect in a modern European international standard venue. It even has some things you wouldn't expect, like a 360-degree screen which goes all the way around. It's the only one in the whole of the world, and it's right here in this stadium here for FC Krasnodar. I highly recommend anyone who comes to Krasnodar comes to visit this stadium. I'm sure many of you won't have the opportunity to come visit this stadium, so what I did during the match, I took a few videos of the game, of some celebrations, what happened when a goalie scored, for example, and I'm going to put them, after me speaking, right now. And here I am, one day later, in almost the exact same spot outside the stadium. I'm back here because what I want to see today is this park which surrounds me here, which supports the area of the stadium, which everybody tells me, everyone in Krasnodar tells me, it's better than anything they've seen anywhere else, better than anything they've seen in the US or in Europe. And I'm really curious to see it in the daytime, so let's go take a look. As you can now hear in the background, I'm stood by the centerpiece of this park. The waterfall, the fountain, and this little pool over here. It's very impressive, I have to say. This park is known as Park Galitsky by people here in Krasnodar after the owner who built this whole thing, planned this whole thing, and of course he's the person who funded this and also funded the football stadium, which you can see right there. He is a billionaire from Krasnodar region, actually from Sochi, who made his fortune with a supermarket brand called Magnit, and he's giving back to the city with this park and this stadium, and it's really an excellent project. The park here covers 23 hectares, so it's pretty big, and it has plants and shrubs from all over the world, and it was built with the expectation that if they had plants not just from Russia but from all over the world, it would look different in each season and would be pleasing for visitors no matter if it was summer, winter and everything in between. I have to say, I think they've done a really great job. As well as the stadium and the waterfall, this park has many other features. For example, you can see right behind me here great large grassy areas for sitting down and playing, but also there's other things, other amenities, even like an outdoor amphitheatre, which is a cinema. When I was walking around the streets of Krasnodar, you can see behind me is the main shopping centre here in the centre. I accidentally stumbled into this, hidden cemetery. It's pretty cool. I've been walking around and I did a little bit of research, and I discovered that almost everybody here is Soviet. There's some 20th century people before the Soviet Union and some very late 19th century people. But it appears that this is a mainly Soviet cemetery, mainly army people, heroes of the Soviet Union from the Second World War. And there's also a couple of other people, but I also read that this cemetery was closed in 1965, so there's been no burials here since. I'm now stood in Mariinsky Square in the center of Krasnodar here, surrounded by busts of Russian military leaders. And I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching this video. This is the end of my time here in Krasnodar. I have a flight back home to Moscow in a couple hours because I have work tomorrow. So I'd just like to say thank you so much for watching this video. I really enjoyed Krasnodar. I was very surprised by just how clean it is. I really liked some of the modern gentrified areas like on Krasnaya Ulitsa. Not something I really expected before coming here. So guys, thanks so much for watching. If you liked it, please press the thumbs up at the bottom. If you have a comment, if you're from Krasnodar, or Krasnodarsky Krai, Krasnodar region, and you'd like to tell me something else maybe that I missed here, please comment down below. And if you want to see more videos about Moscow and about Russia as a whole, please subscribe.